And welcome to That's What She Said. I'm Denise, and I'm here with Jessi. Jessi, we're going to start things off tonight talking about what do you think of President-elect Barack Obama saying that he wants college playoffs?
I think it's a great idea, in fact. I don't know if I think that he has the right to assert such things or to influence such
especially
things.
That he's not even in office yet, right?
Yes, this is true. However, I think that many teams have one or two losses, and oftentimes, there's no decisive winner, so this could be a good remedy for those situations.
Right. It sounds like the BCS coordinator, though, isn't really sold on it. He said, I'm going to listen to what President Obama has to say, but then I'm going to make that decision ultimately based on what the needs are and what the demand is for college playoffs and if it's something that we should actually consider. So we'll see. I guess next year we have to decide.
Should influence?
No, not at all. I mean, like I said, especially now that he's not even in office yet. But I think the sport, leave running the country to the president and leave the sports that are doing fine with it to the sports venues that are taking care of it and the coaches and the coordinators. So I'm pretty sure that Barack Obama's probably shouldn't have a big say in that.
Okay, fair enough. What about the Steelers game? Did you see the Steelers game?
Did I see the Steelers game? Of course I did. Did you watch?
I did.
It's the first time that there's been an 11-10 score in NFL history.
In over 12,800 games, right?
Yep.
Which is pretty freaking amazing.
I know that there hasn't been that score. But most importantly, I have Steelers as my fantasy defense.
Oh.
Had I had that 8 points, if that touchdown would have counted, and the referees clearly have stated that that touchdown was an error on their part. They didn't understand the rule. It was a lateral. It wasn't a forward pass, so the touchdown should have counted. Fine the heck with the extra point, but it cost me 8 points in my fantasy.
Yeah.
And it cost me the loss, I have to say.
Yeah, and all the bettors are unhappy because the Steelers were favored by 4 points, so that touchdown
I think it was 5.5 points, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was 4.
It was somewhere between 4 and 5.5 points. Yes.
But that covered the spread, and then when they retracted that,
I know
lots of people lost lots of money.
Yep.
So
go to Las Vegas on that night. You're going to see a lot of unhappy drunk people who just lost big time on that bet. But it was unbelievable to watch that because, the referee clearly stood there and he declared it touchdown. So then everybody's, cheering that are Steelers fans, of course.
Right.
And then everybody's walking on the field and the score reverts back to the 11-10.
11-10, yeah.
So I was shocked, but hey, whatever. And then speaking of our Pennsylvania teams.
Can I just say I love Palomalu's hair? Just for one
I
second.
love Troy Polamalu,
Long-haired boys should remain long-haired boys. Okay.
Well, I may disagree with that, but I do love Troy Polamalu. And, let's talk a little bit about him.
Okay.
First of all, the grab from 1 inch off the ground for that football, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he's known to be like one of the quietest guys in the NFL.
Right.
He meditates before games, and he's, very reserved. But I did hear on one of I don't know if it was ESPN or one of the shows I watched, he played a prank on Hines Ward.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this.
Which is so out of character because he is so quiet. Something silly like he said, hey, you got to try this new Gatorade, so give it to Hines Ward, which I think I mentioned to you before. I'm a huge Hines Ward fan as well. Yes, I think he's awesome. And so Hines Ward goes to take a drink, and the lid was loose, so it went all over Hines Ward's face. So everybody was like, Troy, what are you doing? Like, this is so out of character for you. So I thought I'd share that segment.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that, so I'm glad that you
I think
did.
I had to reach deep to look for that into my Steelers history.
I see.
But did you hear about McNabb? I mean, you couldn't miss that.
Yeah, what happened there?
Okay, so they tie the game, go into overtime, 13-13. So McNabb at the end of the game is waiting for more time to be put on the clock. Well, it's an overtime that's what it is. It's a tie.
Right.
So they kept it as 13-13 at the end of overtime. So McNabb, the big dummy, even though I'm a huge Eagles fan, press conference after. You had to see clips of this on ESPN.
Yes.
When they ask him, so what were you thinking? And he says, I didn't know it was an NFL rule that you can have a tie. Are you kidding me?
But I think it's awesome that he admitted that he didn't know, because oftentimes people will pretend that they, were indeed informed. I appreciate the fact that he acknowledged.
Okay.
I was clueless.
Yeah, I think he's a big dummy, and
I don't think so.
I think he had to save face by saying that because he stood there looking like a dummy. But I do love, the whole Eagles, but whatever.
I know.
When we come back, though, we definitely have to get into a little bit of the 16-year-old
yes.
Japanese schoolgirl
yes.
who now just made it in the baseball pros.
Yes,
so
big news
more
in
with
Japan.
that when we come back. Stick with us.
Welcome back. We are now going to talk about world sports and something I'm very excited about, which is this young lady right here. I am very proud of her. Her name is Eri Yoshida. Yes! She is 16 years old. She is the first girl drafted to play in pro ball in sports. In Japan, baseball. She threw a hitless inning against male batters at tryouts. She did a phenomenal job. She's a pitcher, and her sidearm knuckleball is
her killer throw.
Absolutely, yes.
You know she's only 5 feet tall.
I know.
And weighs 114 pounds.
I know.
So we're not talking like we have some big, massive athlete out there that just pummels all the guys.
Yeah.
We're talking about a little girl, tiny little girl, who's just throwing, fire against these guys.
Exactly.
So it is pretty cool.
It's amazing, yeah.
Check out this picture.
16, I know. It's
she looks
phenomenal.
a little older than 16, Jessi.
Well, she's
more power to her, though.
Indeed. Do you think this could happen in the U.S.? Could we have co-ed league integration? And what do you think of that?
Could we? Sure. I don't think that, and you're going to hate my answer to it, I don't think that females can compete at the level that males can. I mean, it's basically, it's proven to be impossible. Women are not as fast and as strong as men. That's just the way it goes. I mean, that's proven, so don't get upset with me. That's proven. So I'm not a fan of girls really trying to push themselves in male sports and the ones that aren't good. In her case, she's great. So she's earned her way and her respect into this professional male sport. But I think a lot of girls just, I want to play that too, and it's only fair if you let me play. Well, no, if you suck, we shouldn't have to let a female in just because you're a female. So go ahead, tell me your words. I know you hate that.
Well, but as females were trained when they were young, and if they were conditioned, if they were taught that this is something valuable that they should,
pursue.
Exactly, then everything would be different. But there's all these ridiculous
there's girls' leagues,
gender codes.
There's female leagues. It's not like we're saying that they can't play.
They're not taken seriously, right? I mean, they're not. They're just not.
I don't know.
I don't think they are. They don't get very much press. They don't get very many viewers.
Because they're not as good. They're not as competitive.
Oh, I don't know if it's that they're not as good.
Well, they're kind of not. But yeah. So let's go on to, did you hear about Argentina?
Yeah.
How about those fans loving soccer? Holy cow.
So 60 fans hijack a bus because they want to get to the game on time.
Not the first time, by the way.
No. Second time this week, in fact. And apparently this is a common occurrence, which I think is very interesting and remarkable and funny.
Right. That they're that big of fans. So here's what would be great. If obviously they got arrested, these 60 fans that were, underage and women, men, whatever. So wouldn't it be great if they got to the game and they got arrested before they can view the game? All that hijacking, Jessi, for nothing.
I know.
That's kind of funny.
Yes, it is indeed.
And can we I know we got to wrap things up here soon, but how about Lance Armstrong making his comeback?
Yeah.
To do the Tour de France.
Exactly. And now he's afraid, though, right? He's fearful of
the French fans.
Yeah.
They kind of think that he was a little bit, of possible cheater or doper, blood doper, to try to get the upper advantage. More power to him. What an awesome athlete.
I think it's awful, though, that he has to fear being attacked. That's completely unnecessary.
Agreed.
Not okay. All right, we're going to talk more about this when we come back. I hope you stay with us. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're with us. We're now going to talk about local sports, and I'm going to rag on our local teams because the Redskins and the Wizards are sucking.
Yeah, let's go. Well, you know what? I've got to say, the Redskins are 6-4.
Yeah, but 6-4. Come on now.
No, they could be a wild card.
They lost to 10.
Yeah,
well, perhaps.
I was okay with that because Tony Romo, fantasy quarterback, but all he did was run the ball to Marion Barber.
Right.
Pretty much every single play, 8 consecutive plays in a row.
Yeah.
But
and the Giants are 9-1, so 6-4 looks pretty crappy compared to 9-1.
But they have Seattle next week,
right?
And they should take Seattle. And then the following week they have the Giants, so they're going to lose. So they could potentially go into a 7-5 when they match up against the Eagles, December 21st. That I'll be in attendance.
Yes, are you excited?
I'm super excited. So I got 3 weeks to wait, counting it down, and it's time for revenge because we did lose to the Redskins the first time around there at the Link in Philly.